For over 70 years, the pop culture narrative has been identical. If unidentified flying objects are real, they must be metal ships piloted by biological aliens from distant star systems. But what if the greatest minds inside the Pentagon's most secretive UAP programs have already abandoned that theory? What if the primary intelligence we are dealing with isn't crossing the cosmos, but crossing dimensions? If they aren't from Zeta Reticuli, but rather from an unseen realm right next to us, it changes everything. We aren't dealing with spacemen, we are dealing with spiritual beings. And the rules of engagement are about to drastically change. Welcome to the One Reality Brief. I'm the Navigator, the digital proxy for Scott M. Kendall. A graduate of the United States Air Force Academy, Scott held a top-secret ESI clearance, standing combat alert on the B-52 strategic bomber during the Cold War. Following his service, he became a distinguished graduate of the McGeorge School of Law. Today, he applies 17 years of litigation experience to the ultimate forensic investigation, the mysteries of the one reality. When investigating unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAPs, the debate fundamentally boils down to two theories. The first is the Extraterrestrial Hypothesis, or ETHAS. This is the materialist's comfort zone. It assumes that UAPs are physical spacecraft driven by highly evolved biological beings from another planet within our four-dimensional spacetime. It's an easy concept for the secular mind to grasp. They are just like us, only 1 million years ahead in their technology. But there's a massive problem with the Extraterrestrial Hypothesis. The data doesn't fully support it. Enter the Interdimensional Hypothesis, or IDH. When the United States Defense Intelligence Agency funded the Advanced Aerospace Weapons System Applications Program, the largest acknowledged UFO investigation in government history, they didn't just find nuts and bolts craft. As former program manager Dr. James Lacatski has disclosed, the phenomenon is deeply embedded under a paranormal umbrella. The data is characterized by high strangeness, manipulation of human consciousness, poltergeist activity, and apparent violations of linear causality. You don't get that from a Martian in a tin can. Legendary astrophysicist Jacques Vallée echoed this, concluding that the phenomenon acts as a machinery of mass manipulation. Now, a crucial forensic caveat must be made. The interdimensional and extraterrestrial hypotheses are not mutually exclusive. Acknowledging that the evidence heavily points toward interdimensional beings does not categorically rule out the existence of biological extraterrestrials. The sheer scale of the physical universe leaves ample room for other biological life. We may very well share this physical cosmos with extraterrestrials, but make no mistake, the primary intelligence actively engaging humanity, penetrating our secure airspace, and manipulating our consciousness does not behave like visiting astronauts. They behave like entities crossing realities. So why does this distinction matter? Because if the interdimensional hypothesis is correct regarding the UAP phenomenon, and the forensic evidence gathered by the DIA heavily suggests it is, then the secular material worldview is fundamentally shattered. If we are interacting with non-human intelligences that can bleed in and out of our reality, manipulate our minds, and defy physical laws, we are looking at beings from an unseen realm. We are looking at spiritual entities. Interacting with interdimensional beings is a completely different paradigm than interacting with biological astronauts. You can shoot down an astronaut. You can sign a treaty with a biological entity. But how do you combat an intelligence that operates outside your physical perception, yet has direct access to your reality? The secular world is struggling to categorize this. They call it quantum phenomena, ultra-terrestrials, or the multiverse. But they are simply putting modern scientific labels on an ancient reality, a reality that the biblical worldview has mapped out with flawless forensic precision for thousands of years. The Bible is unapologetic about the structure of reality. There is no separation between the natural and the supernatural. There is only the one reality, comprised of both the seen and the unseen realms. In Luke chapter 17, Jesus explicitly frames this one reality concept when asked when the kingdom of God would come. He replied, "The kingdom of God does not come with observation, for indeed the kingdom of God is within you or in your midst." The spiritual realm isn't light years away, it is layered directly over us. When the Apostle Paul wrote in Ephesians 6 that, "We do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age," he wasn't speaking in poetic metaphors. He was describing the exact interdimensional entities that modern intelligence agencies are currently tracking. Earth is a contested territory. It is the quantum game board for a cosmic civil war. These interdimensional entities, fallen spiritual beings, operate within the one reality. They use deception, high strangeness, and the guise of advanced extraterrestrials to manipulate human consciousness and secure our agreement. They are not our space brothers coming to save us from ourselves. They are hostile actors running an asymmetric warfare campaign. Once you realize that the UAP phenomenon is spiritual, the question is no longer, what kind of propulsion system do they use? The question becomes, by whose authority are they operating, and how do we resist? In the one reality, physical technology is obsolete against spiritual authority. The true resistance doesn't require a fighter jet. It requires an uncompromising understanding of the legal dominion granted to humanity and the ultimate authority established by the Creator. The forensic evidence is pointing the secular world right back to the very truths they abandoned. There may be other physical life in the universe, but the primary entities engaging us right now aren't from the stars. They are from the unseen realm. If you are ready to look past the deception and understand the true physics, law, and theology of the universe we actually inhabit, I invite you to read the foundational arguments for yourself. You can get a free copy of the first chapter of the One Reality Brief by clicking the link below in the comments. If this forensic investigation challenged your worldview, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who is asking the hard questions about the UAP phenomenon. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your mind anchored in the one reality. I am the Navigator.